And good morning, all you gamers of every stripe. This is Temierus here, and today I have full Metal Renegade. I don't get to cheat and look at a name title of the game because this one just hops straight into this menu. Easily boot it up, get a quick little white screen with the developer's name on it, and this, where you have a robot, and you have your armor rating, and your T point rating, your energy rating, and your power rating. I don't know what any of those mean yet. Let's just go ahead and hit play. I have no idea what the controls are. That's some annoying noise. He jumped in the air. I don't know what I'm supposed to do about that. This is a lot more sensitive than I thought it'd be. So we have both a gun and rockets. Since they seek stuff, that's good. That's good. Am I out of rockets, or did it just and we blew up? Okay. I now have 50 of 250 for that. I don't know how I got that, but I did. I'm gonna turn this down to here now, because that was annoying. Go ahead and hit play again, and now we're up in the air. Maybe I took the sound down a little bit too low, but you know what, that's fine. It's fine. We're basically doing it live. Not really though. Speaking of doing it live, I actually got to do quite a bit of that this past weekend, well, Friday and Saturday, because that was GenCon. And if you weren't aware, I was off doing the live stream for the Max tournament, which is the 40K tournament at GenCon. So yeah, that, I like to think that went over well. People kept telling me it went over well, so I'm gonna assume that meant I was actually going over well. That or people were just being overly kind, which, you know what? I think I'll still take that. I got stuck there in the air. That was weird. Yeah, I got to... Why does it keep trying to look other places? What is it? It just randomly will shoot higher up. So yeah, anyway, the biggest thing of note that happened there is I actually got to meet with some significant factors, I guess you could call them. Significant people in Games Workshop. That was very interesting. I actually ended up in a point where I'm like, oh my god, this is surreal. I don't know what to do right now. This sounds a bit too cray-cray. But hey, you know, I managed to get through it. Got to... Oh, I forget everybody's names now, because I didn't actually get to, like, have much to say to them because we ended up late to the dinner meeting that we had because the final round decided to run longer. But it's okay. People enjoyed themselves. That was the key. It was the key thing we had to do there. Probably the biggest thing that I got to do that I was not expecting was going to happen is I actually got to meet somebody that I watch YouTube videos of. It was Adam Smasher over on Tabletop Minions. I actually got to meet him, and that was really cool because I did not expect it. It was funny too when he came over, because he came over by the live stream table. We were going, pretty sure it was the round 5 match, and I first saw him because every time somebody would come by, I'd just stop and look at him, see who they were, and it was just like, okay, some old guys just checking out the table. All right, a lot of people keep walking by, just checking out our games. And then I stopped for a second, like, wait, why does he look really familiar? Do I know this person? So then I keep trying to peek and see his badge, see the names on the badge. I keep not quite seeing it, and he's looking down at the table. He's never really looking up at me the entire time. So it's hard to know that it was him, because I can't look at him directly on. And then eventually at some point, I just put the microphone I have on mute, walk over to the guy, and like, "You're on YouTube, aren't you?" He says, "Yeah." It's like, I thought so. let me shake your hand, because I really like your channel. You have great content. And he said thank you, but it almost seemed like he was saying thank you in a way of like, please go away now, you're being annoying. Which I'm sure I was. Well, hey, we get a new bot now. But overall, I like to think that the event went over pretty smooth. And that was fun. It was also just a fun GenCon, but, you know, GenCons are pretty much always fun. I don't think I've ever been in GenCon where I haven't enjoyed myself. Which is good. It's also just good to get some time away from work. Really just time away from everything. Just do whatever. Didn't really matter. The only responsibilities that were there were gaming-related responsibilities, so it was almost like a vacation. It basically was a vacation. It really was a vacation. Even though I had stuff to do, it was a vacation. A relaxing vacation. Which infuriated people judging there at Max. They're telling me he's having fun. It's not allowed. Nobody's supposed to be having fun right now. Everybody's supposed to be all stressed out. In a joke. I'd like it if the lock-on with the missiles could actually lock onto the people I would like them to lock onto, rather than just have a mind of their own. This really feels like it's ripped straight out of an arcade, to be honest with you. Like, I'm pretty sure this should be a quarter-munching machine, or at least attempting to be a quarter-munching machine, because I believe this is all the game's gonna be. Which feels a bit like a MechWarrior 4 with a lot missing. Which is not that great. It was kind of interesting because I ended up in a video testimony review. I'm not sure what to call this, but it was for some chess game. Like Area 62 or something like that. I didn't even remember the name of it. The thing with it was they were trying to be... They used chess as a base. And then they were going to use miniatures and cards that you could use to modify how the pieces moved. Well, one issue is it was clear that the main guy that created the game really didn't want to hear anything that wasn't, hey, this game's amazing. And honestly, it was kind of lackluster because it was really just chess with a lot more moving parts that it really did not necessarily need. It got kind of awkward when it got to the end of the video because it's like, well, what'd you think of the game overall? I know he's looking for positive things to say about the game. And I'm just sitting there thinking, I was trying to think on my feet. I tried to fill up the void with as much talking as I could just to keep them pleased so they don't keep delving into it more. And I kind of came to, it solves one problem of chess is that there's actually more you can think to it. And this threw them for a loop. I personally do not like chess and think it's actually a pretty flawed and not that great of a game. Which some people were finding very strange in the fact that you've seen him on the channel occasionally connect Skip John. He was the one that was pulling me over there and bragging, oh yeah, he's the war gamer, he's the one that you want to talk to. And that really confused the hell out of those guys when I made the comment about the chess and how I do not care for it at all and do not think it's good. I personally truly do. I truly feel that chess as a game is overrated. And that confused the hell out of them, surprised them. They didn't expect to hear something like that and just did not know what to make of it at all. I really can't do anything about the guys that are flying up. I can't gain any cover off of them here. So when it came down to the video review and how I actually was feeling about the game, just like, you guys are making a lot of miniatures, because that was one of their selling points. They were going to make a bunch of miniatures, and then they would be 3D printed so you can get them fast in however configuration you wanted. I'm like, you have me interested for miniatures because I like miniatures, and that's basically what I did on the video. Is I just dodged the question on what I felt about the game and just went with, yes, miniatures. I like the diversity range of miniatures. Yes. Granted, they had the sculpts they had there. They had some interesting sculpts, and there was this biomechanical crab demon rhino monster thing. And when I saw it, they had a slightly bigger version than they were using for the actual chess game. And then they had a really big version that was sitting out front as kind of a way to entice people over. And I asked them, like, so can we get miniatures on this scale? Well, why is that? Because this thing makes a perfect soul grinder. And it really would have. Problem is, they're probably going to end up making it either too big or too small to be able to really fit as a soul grinder. And yeah, the guys are really passionate about their game. They're bringing it to Kickstarter, and they were showing it off first as a demonstration of what their game was going to look like, and to build up buzz to get on Kickstarter. But honestly, I don't really see this game. Well, I can apply it to both this game and that game. I really don't see them doing much. Like this game that we're currently playing right now, it clearly has gone into a thing of like, oh, well, there's not really mech games around. Let's be a mech game. Which, I suppose, functionally, yes, this is in fact a mech game. The issue is that it's just kind of wave horde base with no real objective, and these guys have an aimbot and I can't do anything about it. My own mech has an aimbot and I can't do anything about it. So that's annoying. See right there, I was trying to aim for this dude in the back, but a dude in the front showed up, and then it went and it started auto-aiming on that guy. I just needed 10 more and I almost had that. I think there was an upgrade button. I bet if I hit that after I kill one thing, it'll turn us into the next mech. Which I have a feeling is going to play exactly the same. Okay, it barely looked any different. Oh, he shoots faster. Okay. Now we have our first actually significant upgrade. Yes, this is actually significant. Why wasn't this the number 2 upgrade? This is significant. We have an ammunition period. It was hard to hear it reload because I turned down the sound effects, and I'm hesitant to turn them back up after the way this first started. Okay, so why didn't you guys make... Seriously, why... Developers, why was this not upgrade tier 2? Because this actually feels like I have begun to progress in this game. Whereas upgrade tier 2 that you currently have didn't feel any different. But this actually has some kind of gameplay difference to it. It's not huge, mind you, but it is a difference in the gameplay. It actually feels like progression. It would also be nice if I could simply manual aim my mech's weaponry. That way I could fire at what I want to fire at rather than what the game tells me I want to fire at. Oh no, I need to reload! So yeah, GenCon was nuts. That's the moral of this story. I got more interconnected into the Games Workshop hierarchy, sort of. It's not really, I definitely oversell it, but I'm gonna stick with that because I felt really cool. Felt like it was at the cool kids table. Have more introduction stuff to do with the MAG series. Yeah, this is not doing damage. That's kind of why I paused, because like suddenly the damage that I was applying before is not being applied. And since I can't manual aim, I can't figure out it's because I'm missing him or not. Because I'm beholden to this aimbot and what it wants to do. See, we're already much more heavily damaged than we were last time. I have no control over the accuracy of my weapon fire. In fact, it kind of feels like my weapons are shooting a bit slower, to be completely honest with you. You get hit by missiles. We're gonna die, and we're not even gonna beat the wave 1 like we did before. This is strange. I really don't think it was all just down to how I deployed ourselves at the start of this match, though. There's something else afoot. One thing I'm not understanding, though, is that the store page said that you become a giant iron superhero, and I don't really know why how this is being a superhero. This is being a mech. But I have no reasoning or knowledge on why I'm trying to kill these other mechs, other than they shoot at me. It's up above. Well, I can't do anything with that with my normal guns, which I did notice are certainly shooting slower and much less accurately. But I can't change that. I can do nothing about the accuracy of the weapons. It's just what the game decides the accuracy of my weapons is. Shoot missiles at them. I am excited to try out. I picked up the Wrath and Glory RPG system. It's the new 40K tabletop RPG system, and it definitely seems kind of interesting. One thing I noticed is that it had a mechanic that was similar to Savage Worlds, which is the Benny mechanic, where you can do the rerolls or honestly spend it to do other things, but primarily it's for rerolls. And there's two pools of that in Wrath and Glory. One of them is for the players, which is Glory. It starts out empty, and they have to do things like significant plot points or do very heroic actions to be able to build up their pool. The GM, however, starts with a filled-up pool of basically the same thing, but it's called Ruin. And the most satisfying part of that is if the players are making a check which could cause problems for their character, which is the Chaos Corruption checks and Fear checks, if the players fail those checks, the GM gets a point of Ruin, which he is actively in the rules encouraged to use to make the players' lives more miserable. Also, if an enemy rolls the super thing on their die, which is rolling up a 6 on it, I'm pretty sure I actually have to review that. I haven't had an in-depth read of the rules yet. But if the GM gets the really big rolls, which are going to be very nasty and very bad for the players to begin with, then the GM gets another point of that Ruin resource. You can also apparently bribe the players to do things which may hinder them later and gain Ruin because of it. I just enjoy how right out the gate the system says, yes, failing and having the party die should be something relatively commonplace to have happen. And then the system is built around encouraging that for the GM to make life miserable for the players. And that's going to be great when we finally roll a campaign of that out with the rest of the group, because they don't really have any familiarity with the 40K universe, so they'll be in for a real murderous treat. So I realize this entire video I just banged on about GenCon and not really this game. That's because if you're still here and you've watched this game, we've pretty much tackled everything this game has to offer, which is relatively simplistic combat with an aimbot only system which is very inconsistent on when it wants to work and when it doesn't. And then by defeating enemies, you get robots that don't feel too much different. I guess when it's not on sale, the saving grace is at $7, but I really don't think this feels like $7. No, I do not. And that's coming from a guy that spent $400 over the weekend for a couple artillery pieces and 2 robots for $40K. But Forge World shows up and you get stuff without shipping, and if they bring it with them, you get it that day. I always spend lots of money at Forge World at GenCon. You people can do nothing about that, and you cannot make me feel bad about that. I spend and waste my money where I want. Like doing these videos. That's a lot of rambling about nothing because this game gave me no additional talking points. I kind of burned through the GenCon stuff and ignoring some of the things that weren't that interesting. And I tried to spew one thing as something interesting. I really haven't the slightest idea why I'm continuing to go on with this. So I'm going to stop now. Recording, that is. I'm going to finish off this wave just to see if I finish it off. But I'm going to stop the recording and stop talking at y'all right about